Hello, my friends. Shawn here with Manly Made Minute, and welcome back to another episode of Okay, I'll try that. So today we're just gonna try a simple charcoal pencil. Mm-hmm. Regular number 2 pencil. So here is where this started. I'm on the design team for Desiree Tangles, and if you've watched my channel, you know that she has all these entangled designs and stamps, and she uses just a normal charcoal pencil all the time. Recently did a live with her where she whipped out her charcoal pencil, was using it. I have not tried it. However, if you order from her, you're going to get one of these. And this is just a little gift for you. Enjoy bringing your child of life with your own pencil and blending stump. Thank you so much, Desiree. And then inside you've got I think these are called tornado blending stumps because they're just like rolled paper. And then a blending charcoal pencil. I've asked her, it's just a plain old number 2 pencil. So it doesn't have to be this little fancy little pencil. And it's just one of those mediums that we have as artists that we can just simply use a pencil and do some shading, some drawing, whatever you want to do. So we're going to give it a try. I'm going to try some shading on one of her newest stamp sets, which she just recently came out with. And this is I think this is a tangled frame. So let's go to my down camera, show you kind of my thought process on this and just different ways to use this pencil. And let's just see what results we get. Before I head down, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Would love to have you follow me here on YouTube and Instagram under Manly Made Minute. I've got card hops, I do lives, I've got design team stuff, I've got these how-to series, these new series of trying new stuff and scrappy shorts. So hit that like and subscribe button. Would love to have you follow along. All right, let's head down to the table. Here is what I have. I have stamped out this stamp set, a tangled frame already. I used black archival ink just because I thought that might have the most staying power. I stamped this 3 times just to get a really good solid stamp. And I dried it with my drying tool just to make sure that all layers of that ink were dry. Let's get out my pencil. It's even got a little Zentangle on it. And I'm going to try some shading. I'm just going to try some line drawing with this, some outlining with this, just to see what different effects we get. I know from using colored pencils that, you know, if you choke up on the pencil like here, you're going to get a much more harsher, deeper impression. You don't get the shade. Now, if I know the more I go and choke out onto the pencil and use the side of the pencil, pencil meaning this or colored pencil, you're going to get shading. You've got a little more control on how dark, how light you're going to go. Here you choke up, it's harder to just shade, right? So we're going to do both. I'm going to start with these smaller little leaves, petals, and berries, whatever they are, and I'm just going to outline. I'm just going to choke up, outline with my charcoal, blend it just a little bit. Then, like especially on the ribbon, I'm going to just shade and blend and see what we get. And maybe not blend. Maybe we don't have to blend, okay? So I'm going to just start here with my little tipped leaves. And I'm just going to use my pencil and essentially kind of thicken the line of this a little bit and follow that stamp and fill that in. Now I don't have to fill this in. I don't have to do whatever I want to do, right? And I'm just going to stay on the one side for these ones. And then we'll just shade. We'll blend. Now maybe and I'll do that maybe on the circled ones. Maybe I just want to do a line and I don't want to do shading. Again, I know from Desiree and doing the couple lives with her, Zentangle is there's a method to the madness, right? There's also though that liberty of doing where that pencil brings you, whether it's shading, whether it's just drawing some lines. Maybe I'm going to extend out and do some stuff here. And I know there's certain names for them, and I need to get better at that. And maybe pull out. I know Biddy Penny, who's on her design team, has a book of them, and she knows the names and does that. So I should probably look into that. So I'm just going to do those couple. And I'll shade here in a second. Now these ones, maybe I just want to do like a second line of tracing around these. and not shade. So I'm just following that stamp and doing my own thing. And let's just keep all of these the same. Okay, so let's just start here before I go into some shading. So now I'm going to use this blending stump, and I'm just going to, not a lot of pressure here, pull that away from the edge. This actually works pretty good. That pulls that charcoal really nice. A nice even blend off of that. I'm going to zoom in so you can kind of see this just a little bit better. There we go. You can see where I've done my lines right here with solid pencil. And now I'm doing little circles to pull it away from the stamp so I don't go outside the lines. Now, you could do this same technique with colored pencils, right? But this is just to show you a simple charcoal pencil and the shading that we can get from that. And just do like a simple, kind of a simple black and white. And what a cheap tool to have in your toolbox, right? Just a number 2 pencil. This one I'm going to leave as that. I don't want to shade that out. I'm just going to leave that because that's what I wanted, just some extra lines on that. Now, let's just choke out on this pencil a little bit. And you feel like you lose control because of this. You're so far out of this pencil. But here's just about taking your time. I'm using more of that side of the pencil and just shading this out. And I'm just doing light to start. Now, I can go back over. The more I keep going over this, the darker this is going to get. And I'm keeping the same pressure. I'm just adding. And I'm going to get a little bit more down in here. And then bring this out. And I'll do 3 here. And then we'll blend this too, just to show you. So I don't have to blend this. Honestly, you don't have to do a whole lot of things. Like you can, this is yours. Do what you, like maybe you just want to do this and leave it. Do what you want to do on this. I'm going to add some more in that corner there. Let's do one more. Not a whole lot of pressure. You can't, it's hard to put too much pressure because you're going to lose control a little bit by choking out so far on the pencil. And then I just keep going over it and just keep adding till I get the depth that I want. All right, let's just take our blending stump. So now, I think this looks fantastic just the way it is. Let's see what will happen if I were to blend this out. Okay, so let's just go in this middle one here. And I'm doing a fair amount of pressure here to get that to smooth out. And then as I come out to where I don't want it as dark, I loosen up on my pressure. Let's do another one. Let's just do this big one. Again, I'm pushing pretty good because I want this to be solid, darker, and then I'm just, as I come out, I'm loosening up on that pressure. And then let's just leave that to compare. Smoothed out, not smoothed out, smoothed out, more solid line so it gets darker and then to lighter, right? All right, now, the other thing is maybe I want to add pattern into this with just my pencil. So if I just keep following this pattern, almost looks like little toucan Sams. And do these leaves and just leave this. I wouldn't use my blending stump on these because I'm just going to leave the pattern. Let's do this last one. I need that. Now I could do the same here with my frame and inside the frame. So I might want to start a little bit more darker, lay down a little bit more of that charcoal. In these corners. And then as I come through here, maybe I just want to do some shading, like as if there's a shadow where this stuff overlays that frame. Like so. So I'll do this one side of the frame. Alright, now I'm going to do that same thing. I'm just going to pull this away from, so I don't go outside the lines. I can see just stamping out a good Zentangle design kind of thing, and just getting lost in shading and in black and white and the process. This to me would just be really relaxing, just to see what you can keep adding. All right, I'm just going to shade around these as if this has got like a little shadow going on here. Look at the depth that adds. That just adds such depth, doesn't it? Dimension and depth into that. Let's do a little bit around here. And I'm not laying down a whole lot even, and I get good coverage. So look at how much depth that gets. And I remember Desiree talking about depth and how this gets this play on depth off the things coming up off the page and the shadow underneath kind of thing. So I think this is a winner. And I think that we get in that we got to add color concept, and I like the idea of not having color, which is hard for me. So I can see finishing this off having a nice black and white simple. This would be great for a sympathy card. It would be great to even go through with color and just add some accents. Maybe I color in some of these round pieces here. Maybe every now and then we color in one of the shapes and just add a little color with the depth of the charcoal and the black and white. I think would be absolutely beautiful. So I believe these are called tornado stumps. It's just rolled paper and then a charcoal pencil. This can be one button in an art and craft store. This could be just a number 2 pencil. That is it. That's all it is. It's as simple as that. All right. I hope this gives you some idea of just a really cheap alternative tool and something different to do. So get out a pencil, stamp yourself something. This is from the latest release from Desiree Tangles. This is the Tangled Frame. She's got some great stamp sets that she just released for her winter holiday collection as well. So thank you all so much. Hopefully I gave you a great idea just to sit and relax. And this would be great just to sit and watch TV and get out a pencil. All right. Thank you all so much for hanging with me. And until next time, I'll see you then.